So in the last video, I got a ton of heated comments on what Basecamp should have done, should not have done, and it really comes down to two different styles of leadership. The traditional way is to think of it as a pyramid where the CEO or the leader is sitting at the top of the pyramid and they're barking orders or they're telling folks below them what they need to do. This is often seen in very large and complex organizations. You sometimes see this in military orgs or national organizations as well, where you're really just expected to follow orders.
We follow orders or people die. It's that simple. Are we clear?
Crystal.
Did you order the code red?
You're goddamn right I did!
But there's another style of leadership that's called servant leadership. And what it does is it really inverts the pyramid. Rather than saying that you're the boss and at the top of the pyramid, you're barking orders down to the pyramid below you, it inverts that pyramid and says you're the boss at the bottom of the pyramid, really supporting the organization and making sure that the organization above you has the things it needs to get the job done. Top-down leaders can really be demotivating and can sometimes not hear some of the problems that are actually happening within the organization. So by inverting the pyramid, you're being much more receptive to the things that can make your organization less dysfunctional and more operationally effective. Now, servant leadership does not mean servitude leadership. It does not mean you are being bossed around by the organization. It's still on you as the CEOs, the leaders, the boss, to set the vision, to set the direction, to set decisions about what your company will do or won't do. But it really takes a different philosophical approach about what you are doing to enable and empower and listen to your organization. A lot of the principles of servant leadership have been around for many decades, and there's a lot of really well-known, well-established, and large companies that you're probably familiar with that practice a lot of the elements of servant leadership. Chick-fil-A, Southwest Airlines, Zappos, and many others, servant leadership can be seen in successful companies all around the country. CEO Elon Musk is famous for being on the ground floor of his company, really rolling up his sleeves and being on the factory floor, listening to his employees and trying to unblock and unstick operational issues within his company. The core of servant leadership is really creating a situation where you are empowering the team, you're leading by example, you're really showing the team and the organization what is expected of them, and you're unblocking obstacles. You're finding things that are slowing down your team, you're actively listening to your organization, and you're creating the environment where people can be hyper-productive and really have their input heard by the leadership. Organizations like this excel, and there's a lot of data to back this up. In one study, servant-based leadership resulted in almost a 2 times increase in the performance of a company's organization. In a Harvard-based study, it actually showed that many of the qualities of servant-based leadership actually lead to an over 30% increase in employee retention. So not only does this type of leadership have a strong impact on the bottom line in the financials of a business, but it also leads to real positive returns in terms of employee engagement and retention, which also has a huge long-term benefit for the business as well. Now, the thing that really bothered me about the Basecamp incident wasn't necessarily the policies. While I disagreed with some of the policies, they actually overlapped in some ways with Coinbase that recently IPO'd and had very similar no politics policies. The real difference between the two approaches between Basecamp and Coinbase was the servant-based leadership approach, how the CEOs explained the why, the rationale, and how they were really orchestrating the mission and vision and values of the company to be aligned with the employees. This was in contrast to how I really read the Basecamp article, which was really oriented around a top-down approach. When companies go from a shift from a servant-based leadership approach more to a top-down approach, this can be really disruptive to employees, and I think that's what happened. Regardless of the leadership style and your politics, I hope you'll agree that company culture is an incredibly important thing to creating a vibrant organization, a healthy organization that removes dysfunction and allows employees to be incredibly productive and produce world-changing software. I'm Raiz. I talk about entrepreneurship, technology, and design. I hope I'll catch you on the next one.